Chapter 8 The Sea Path. The tunnel river carried them in a measured glide, the raft whispering against the current like a secret told to a friend. Lamplight skated over the ceiling's crystal threads, each one answering with a soft chime as they passed, as if the mountain were counting them, one note per breath, refusing to forget. The current bent around a bend so tight it tried to fold them. Lyra leaned her weight, and the raft obeyed, with the surprise of a stubborn animal deciding it liked you after all. The tunnel widened to a vault, high in the stone. Vents breathed cold air. Through them came a distant sound, like bells playing chase. Eldan cocked his head. "Do you hear that?" Lyra squinted up. Manifold rings. They're sending something? The tone gathered, no longer the single note they'd carried, but a measured pattern like speech made of light. It was Therok's voice, turned larger by the brass. "By stone and echo, let it be witnessed, Rocktail Keep names Eldan Rootwell, a friend of the mountain. He carries a shard of our heart as oath, not ornament. Where he listens, we will listen. Where he bridges, we will build." A cheer followed, damped by depth, then Therok again, simpler. "Bring the sea's truth home." The river narrowed to a sluice and accelerated. Eldan braced. Spray feathered his fur. The ceiling dropped. The sound of the manifold faded behind them like a lantern being carried down a hallway, until only warmth proved it hadn't gone out. The ceiling lifted. The air changed. The stone smell thinned, replaced by a crisp, mineral brightness that set Eldan's teeth on edge in a good way. Like peppermint, their lamplight became unnecessary. A natural blue seeped ahead, not the cold blue of crystal, but the living blue of far places squeezed small by distance. Lyra stood. "We're near the spill." "The spill?" She didn't answer. The river tipped and gathered its skirts and the raft ran with it. They shot out of the mountain like a breath released after years. For a heartbeat they hung, bodies light, and then splashed into daylight. A deep basin carved by falls that leapt from the cavern mouth in a white roar. Foam stung Eldan's eyes. He sputtered, blinking, grabbing for his satchel as the raft bucked and then settled on a broad, bright current. "Seawater?" he coughed. "Not yet," Lyra said, shaking her head like a dog. She pointed downstream. "Look!" The valley unfurled below them, steps of terrace, green and stone, every ditch full and singing, runnels winking like thrown coins. The mountain's runoff, braided into a single river that curved through a canyon and out into a plain where reeds waited with patient hands. Far off, a line of silver carved the world. "The sea," Eldan laughed aloud, the sound surprising him the way a child surprises himself by jumping farther than last summer. The shard hummed in agreement. The acorn pendant knocked his chest twice, a tiny drum, as if to say, "Remember." They steered into softer water beside a gravel bar. Lyra hopped off and hauled the raft nose first onto the stones with a practiced heave. Eldan followed with far less practiced moves. They stood soaking and grinning in the kind of sun that makes skin forget winter. "We should keep moving," he said. "If the sea is part of the same unraveling—" "It is," Lyra said, preempting. "But you'll do better if you see it tired and laughing. Sea folk hide fear behind noise." He tilted his head. "And mountains? We hide fear behind rock," she said. They sat for a while, resting and eating some of the dinner they packed, then reboarded. The river thickened with sunlight, the way honey thickens with flowers. Birds stitched the sky. Twice. Marmots shouted opinions from the bank. Lyra shouted opinions back, and the marmots won by volume. By mid-afternoon, the canyon softened into hills. Trees leaned in, less aloof than the mountain pines, more gossipy, and the air began to taste faintly of salt in the back of Eldan's throat. The shard in his satchel shifted its hum, less straight-line resonance now, more curve, as if learning to sway. They rounded a bend, and the world's floor tilted, sky opening, horizon glittering, wind arriving, not as guest, but as host. In the distance, what first looked like a line of bright stones resolved into houses on stilts, painted in impossible colors, strung with flags and laundry like a celebration that forgot to end. Canals cut the city like veins. Boats moved in disciplined chaos. Dogs barked in three-part harmony, and then argued about whose harmony it was. Lyra let out a long whistle. "Fur float." "Fur float," Eldan echoed. "Fur float," she confirmed, then grimaced. "Sorry, Fur Float Kingdom. Remember, your phrasing, sea folk might get offended." Their river joined a broader channel patrolled by buoy markers shaped like fish. A dock jutted from the bank, a practical tongue for catching rivercraft, and a pair of sentries waited. A rangy husky with a navigator's cap and a terrier whose vest pockets bulged with small tools and large curiosity. "Hold there!" the husky called, paw shading her eyes. "State your cargo and declare your bandanas." "We have no bandanas," Lyra called back. "Contraband," the terrier said darkly. "Who arrives without bandanas?" "People with good hair," Lyra supplied, and eased the raft alongside. Eldan gripped the dock post and hauled them in. "Mara Tidepaws," she said by way of welcome, "navigation chief for this stretch. And this is Pip Quickspoke, fix-it artisan, rumor distribution, and personal enemy of squeaky hinges." Lyra presented the slate writ. Mara tilted it, reading light through it, and gave a low whistle. "Rocktail writ with Stonehoof's mark? That's either very good or very interesting." "Both," Lyra said. Eldan managed a bow without falling off the raft. "Eldan Rootwell." From the forest Mara's ears perked. "A forester and a mountaineer in one boat. Either the world is healing or the sea is playing a new game." "Both," Eldan echoed, unable to stop smiling at the sea's smell. Mara's gaze drifted to the horizon, then to the river behind them. "You're headed to the port proper, I imagine." The annual Around the World Tour Assemble Day is tomorrow. Chaos on purpose. If your business is peace, you'll find it noisy. We're here for honesty, Eldan said. Then we'll tell you when we lie, Mara said, pleased. Dock 3 canals over. Show the writ to customs. Mara's tone gentled. Storms have been forming without wind. Tides sulk. Ships go out and forget to come home on time. If you're the sort that fixes singing rocks, maybe look for the places where the water remembers to listen. Eldan felt the shard buzz, agreeing or warning. He couldn't tell. The whisperer brushed the back of his thoughts, as soft as a wave, turning over in sleep. Here, noise can drown you, it crooned. Let the sea tire itself. Drift. He looked out across the canals, at pennants snapping, at boats nosing around corners like curious dogs, at laughter thrown from balcony to boat to bridge and back. Drift would be lovely. Drift would be easy. Lyra bumped his shoulder. We should check in with the harbor master, then find whoever tells the best lies loudly. They'll be nearest the truth. Is that a mountain proverb? Eldan asked. It will be, she said. They pushed off from the dock and let the current take them toward the city's bright mouth. Mara saluted with 2 fingers. Pip offered a small wrench as a charm. Lyra accepted it solemnly and tucked it into her belt. At the bend where river became canal, Eldan twisted to look back. The mountain stood like a thought you never quite finish, but carry anyway. High above, a line of light pierced the sky, Rocktail's heart crystal sending its hum into the day. The manifold, invisible here, sang an afterline only he and the shard seemed to notice. The canal took them under an arch crowded with lanterns and drying nets. Laughter spilled over them, and music, pipes and drums, and a chorus of dogs who believed singing on key was less important than singing together. Lyra leaned back, eyes half closed, letting the raft rock. Welcome to Furfloat Kingdom, she said. Prepare to be talked at, fed too much fish, and tattooed with someone else's story if you stop moving long enough. Eldan laughed. I'll keep moving. Good, she said softly. Me too. The raft slid into sunlit water, the color of new promises. Beyond the next bend, the city's heart beat loud and bright. They headed for it.